so much, Dr. Rana. So with this, I call upon Dr. Rajesh Mehta. Rahul, can I have the introductory slide, please? So Dr. Rajesh Mehta is the Regional Advisor for Newborn, Child and Adolescent Health at WHO CRO, New Delhi. Dr. Mehta provides technical advice and support to 11 countries in the region. He's a pediatrician by training and started one of the first adolescent health clinics of the region at Safdarjung. He's published many scientific papers in medical journals and has contributed chapters in several textbooks and prepared national and international training packages. He's a Salzburg Global Fellow on Early Child Development and a recipient of Fellow of Indian Academy of Pediatrics. Well, sir, the introduction could run into multiple slides, but for the sake of convenience, we've tried to crystallize it into a single slide. So over to you, a very eminent friend and a speaker, Dr. Rajesh Mehta. Sir.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Vikram. It's my pleasure to be part of this inaugural event. Professor Vinod Paul, who is the chief guest for today's event, Ministry of Health representatives, my friends from partner agencies, there are multiple of them, senior professors who are online, and other colleagues. I think there are around 200 of them online today. So thank you so much. I would use some of these slides to take forward the concept of the philosophy of quality of care and the community of practice which the previous two speakers have referred to. So we should be concerned with quality of care because we understood that this is not a choice anymore, and whatever we deliver should be delivered well, and we should not waste resources by giving poor quality services, the coverage which will not be effective. So as we understood that despite so much of institutional deliveries, the mortality rate has not commensurated, the reduction has not commensurated with the increased institutional deliveries. So this this Global Health Commission from Lancet was referred to earlier, high quality health systems. And clearly 60% mortality newborn globally in LMIC is coming from poor quality of services and not from poor access or poor utilization of services. So we have moved from coverage phase to quality phase, although late, but it is quite useful. And high quality health systems, the Lancet Commission reminded us, would save over 8 million lives each year in LMICs or lower middle income countries. So that's the potential of investing in quality of care. In 2018, when this High Commission report, this Global Health Commission report came from Lancet, WHO, the World Bank and OECD came out with another global report, which again highlighted that considerable proportion of patients do not receive appropriate evidence-based care. The Lancet's analysis already had suggested more than 50% of women who go for antenatal care actually do not receive all the components of care. Similarly, the children who are taken to health facilities or health workers for pneumonia and diarrhea, 60% of them may not receive standard treatments. So that is the problem with the healthcare today. It is so much variable. There is no standardization that we are actually bringing more harm probably and losing efficiency in terms of the use of resources. Additionally, 10% patients are adversely affected during treatment. This is high income countries. So low income countries, you can well imagine how much burden would be there of adverse events in the healthcare system. 7 to 10% get healthcare associated infection, huge number, and all of that adds up to $42 billion lost annually, including medication errors. This is the report from the WHO, OECD, and World Bank. And antimicrobial resistance, which is a direct effect of inappropriate care, poor quality of care, irrational use of antibiotics and other therapeutic regimes, it's a catastrophic happening already. So my point is that this quality of care is even more relevant during this COVID-19 pandemic, where the more than 200 countries are presently faced with this pandemic. Both there has been a quantitative disruption in services. People are not able to reach to hospitals. Hospitals have been diverted to COVID-related work. In addition, even if there is a contact between the health worker and the patient or the client, the quality of care is probably going to be less even from pre-COVID days. It wasn't adequate in the first place. But because of these problems of fear about the infection, using PPE and making a distance, so I think even the quality of care to fewer people who are coming in contact with health systems is worth remembering. So we are reminded by our regional framework, which we launched in 2015 on quality of care, and the global report also, which I mentioned to you in the last slide. They have said that there are at least two broad categories of work. For example, there are work which can happen at national level, which requires a high level kind of investment. So there should be national system, like Lakshya has a NQAS system supporting it. There are standards and guidelines described by the Lakshya program, by the Ministry of Health, and all of that is there. And then the missing link sometimes is we have not invested enough in patients, families, and communities. The services are supposed to be patient-centric, but the engagement has been inadequate. So education of healthcare workers is the most familiar territory. Ministries of health have been investing in this unending work of training, and that does not really lead to 100% effect unless we are able to do the second big work, which is bringing in quality improvement science so that people are enabled, empowered to continuously improve the care with whatever resources are provided by the national actions. So therefore, we have a point of care quality improvement model, which I will explain to you a little bit in detail. This is a package with a pair of facilitator manual and learner manual. We actually do the basic training in point of care quality improvement for health facility level healthcare teams. TOT, if it is a training of 10 hours, we take 2 days, but we can do 1 day training for the actual healthcare teams. So we had realized that one-time training is not good enough. So therefore, we prepared a guide to prepare QI experts for ongoing on-the-job continuous coaching. And this guide is available to train people to become QI coaches, so that the people who are trained in this primary course can subsequently be followed up by providing online ongoing support. And we also have a program management guide so that all of these efforts are actually institutionalized in a program kind of approach rather than a project approach, rather than a hospital-centric approach, but a district-wide program support. So the beauty of this POCI, this is not this point of care quality improvement is not a revolution to the world by us. There are a lot of models of point of care quality improvement. They don't call themselves like that, but quality improvement science is well known. And we studied at least 4 international models on quality improvement, including ISQA, IHI, the EQ, the Canadian model, and several others. The USAID was using another variety. So we condensed that with the contribution from our partners like WHO Collaborating Center at All India Institute of Medical Sciences and USAID Assist, who are already implementing this in India. So we compressed this model, crystallized into a 4-step basic common sense approach model. And in public health, we understood that a demystified approach is the only approach which succeeds. So this is a beginner, this is a primer training, a 4-step process which takes people, the healthcare teams, to use the local data to define a problem, prioritize it, then do a root cause analysis, and then prepare a solution to address the root cause, and then take through the cycle of plan, do, study, act, and then the successful solutions can be taken into sustenance phase, and the failed solutions can be rejected and another solution tried. So very simple, simplified training, and people love it. So therefore, it has been introduced into 9 countries in our region. Out of 11, 9 countries are already using it. More than 400 by now, I think 500 hospital teams are using POCQI model. We are so happy that so many SNCUs have benefited in India in several states. And the Lakshya, of course, provided a ready-to-use platform with a lot of quality assurance provisions and a step in the door to a foot in the door to do the quality circles, where POCI tool fitted immediately and has been effectively used to complete those quality circles for the overall improvement of labor room work, and which actually is the critical period, has the potential, if you improve the quality of care in the labor room around the time of birth, so many maternal deaths, stillbirths, and newborn lives can be saved. So because this is the most dangerous period in life. So we are so grateful to the Ministry of Health to have taken leadership in this. And there are other countries who are gradually expanding POCI. And so leadership of government was critical. And we had partners like UNICEF, UNFPA. Many of them are there in this group today. USAID, I see some of them here. The Collaborating Center for Newborn at AIIMS, and the nationwide quality of care network. Vikram and his whole network has been there. So we also report that although we started POCI from the MNH work largely, but by now what has happened is in these hospitals like in NQOCN, like in Wardha, for example, Professor Garg is here, already POCI has been applied in surgical wards, for example. In All India Institute of Medical Sciences, ophthalmology, cardiology, surgical services, endocrinology, trauma, all these hospitals use this simplified approach of point of care quality improvement to continuously improve the quality of care across the different healthcare domains. And we heard that Africa countries are adopting this. In fact, they have taken permission to translate this package into French for the Francophone African countries. One of the provinces in China, UNICEF helped to take it to China. And Uzbekistan also, there is a UNICEF colleague who has got translated this into Russian. And we are seeing that this POCI demystified, common sense based approach created with partners in this region has found place in other regions. So the work at hospital level is not alone is good enough. So therefore, we have been working with countries, and we are happy to report that all 11 countries actually have a national quality of care cell or a structure in the Ministry of Health. And there are some countries who also have alliance or a partnership. For example, India has a diverse partnership forum, which helps through RMNCH coalition and QED or quality of care work, which is part of the coalition's work. And similarly, the standards have been adopted, and there is a operational plan for quality of care in several countries. So the national level actions, the health facility level action, as the Lancet Global Health Commission described the meso, the macro level actions, the meso level actions, and the micro level actions. I think we are placed in a good mode today that SERO and partners are supporting actions at all levels to improve quality of care. And this is a good framework coming from Quality Equity Dignity Network, which is a global network. And we are using this in our region also to set up quality improvement programs at large scale. So you will see that learning is an important component in this whole exercise of quality improvement. So let me shift my attention from quality of care to how to improve learning and how to expand learning. This one message you must take back home. If there is only one message today, this is, please remember, in addition to a learning curve, there is a forgetting curve. All of us in health sector must remember, if we do not apply the newly acquired knowledge and skills within 6 days, 75% of that skill is gone. After 6 days of training, only 25% remains. Seriously, we have to do something about post-training follow-up, and therefore it is important that we should shift our attention from one-sided top-down training to a learning which could be smart and more effective learning. So therefore, we should provide need-based training and need-based learning. We should also provide only the skills and knowledge which are useful to their immediate needs in their day-to-day activity. And we should immediately be able to provide them with feedback so that they can refine their newly acquired understanding. Supportive supervision is such an instrument which is so weak in many of my countries in the region. So we have to take care of that. And if you provide repeated learning cycles through on-the-job, frequent coaching or mentoring, that would take the learning forward. And please provide these new learners experience sharing opportunities. So therefore, it's not just about training, but we are looking forward to an outcome. For each learning opportunity, we must relate to an outcome. So therefore, personalized content must be looked at. Please talk to people who come for training or learning that what is their felt need and decide to provide that. Use 80-20 principle, the Pareto principle. For example, we can focus on 20% of daily tasks in the life of the healthcare team, which affects 80% of patients. Or maybe focus on 20% of actions, which can save 80% of lives in your settings. So use that kind of a tool to prioritize your learning opportunities and practices. And please remember, low dose, high frequency learning is much more effective than overwhelming in a single training with everything loaded in one training. It doesn't work. Brief spurts or splashes of knowledge followed by on-the-job training, bring them back, give more learning, and that's how it should proceed. And help them immediately apply skills which they learned. And POCI uses this principle very much. So they go back after training with a QI project in hand. They start implementing that QI project using POCI 4 steps, and there are coaches available them to take them through. So coaching and mentoring, I can't stop emphasizing this because this ongoing continuous learning process is the key. So therefore, we must create possibilities of either a on-site visit, which in this pandemic we learned is not always possible. It was difficult in any case. And this pandemic has made us even smarter to understand that virtual digital way is the highway, is the way forward. And we will retain this digital highway even after pandemic is gone. I think we learned that from our current experience. So other important component is peer learning. The science, the evidence suggests that 1/3 of the time people at work are actually looking for new information. And where do they go? They largely go to their boss or the mentor or their own colleagues. And it is another study also said 5 times more likely to a co-worker rather than a book or a manual or a database, even Google. So the peer group is very important for learning because it can provide rapid, just-in-time, immediate need fulfilled, and human nature. I learned myself. When I used to teach my batchmates in anatomy, my own understanding got strengthened and firmed up. So human beings actually learn by teaching, by training. So therefore, it is an important thing to offer those opportunities that people train each other and learn from each other and constantly share experiences. So networking, important to bring people. Community of practice is even more professionally organized network. Networking is one part of community of practice, but periodic workshops are important. And online marketplace like the website, which will be launched by Professor Paul today, but we had a glimpse from NQSN President, Professor Vikram Datta about the website. And if you incentivize this learning by offering them opportunities to publish either on website and through journals, what else can they look for? I think healthcare workers will become motivated if they are able to publish their success stories and their failures. Even publishing failures is even more important. So therefore, when we were struggling with Lakshya mentoring and Vikram reported to me and the other part from All India Institute of Medical Sciences that the on-site visits are not possible. So we said, let us now convert our efforts into a virtual, and Vikram immediately pounced on this idea, and the progress is in front of you, that a community of practice for POCI is already in place. So what we are looking forward to this group from this community of practice is that how to learn, apply, and share. So therefore, we are shifting our attention just from a training to learning and applying the learning and sharing the learning through a community which is non-judgmental, which is welcoming, and which can offer so many advantages. So I am sure in the objectives of POCI COP, I think we heard initial trainings will be done, coaching will be done, there would be availability of people to confer or consult with each other. Obviously, peer learning is part of that. They will provide motivational experiences through publication also, and knowledge sharing platform. And I hope we will progress from this community of practice to setting up collaboratives in the country so that many people can do quality improvement work on this pre-decided, for similar to what Lakshya has said, 6 quality cycles, pre-decided objectives or quality improvement aims, and in a geographic area, everyone doing the same thing so that we have the outcomes which we want to achieve. So therefore, my next thing is that digital highway is the way forward. And in that way, I am looking at POCI and POCI COP that we continue to contribute to national programs significantly. And we look forward to taking this experience to a regional community of practice for quality improvement. And we will learn from this community of practice and the regional learning platform which All India Institute of Medical Sciences has prepared at their website. So we are making good progress. I thank Vikram Datta from materializing this concept of POCI COP so fast. And we look forward to his team's efforts to achieve all these objectives, which can happen, I'm sure, with the teamwork. So I thank you so much for your time. Over to you, Vikram.